Hi, everyone. I hope everyone's doing well at home or wherever you are. And I wanted to welcome you to our video series where we try to bring you, to really sit down with the experts in their fields. And today we're going to be speaking with Bij Christie Karpin. And thank you for making time and for being here with us.
Of course.
Bij is a certified coach, a somatic therapist, clinical hypnotist, and mindfulness meditation teacher specializing in anxiety, various types of trauma, the mind body connection, and habits related to stress, drinking, and stress eating. An intuitive healer, Bij is known for her unique gift of propelling clients toward less stressful ways of living, which we can all benefit from, especially now. At the beginning of the pandemic, Bij created Conscious Drinking 101 and 202, popular mindfulness-based workshops for participants who've noticed an increase in their drinking and would like to cut back. To learn more about these workshops, I encourage you to go to her website, www.insightoutnyc.com. So we will also be writing that at the bottom of the video so you can copy and paste that to your URL. So good morning, Bij.
Good morning.
So I'm excited to hear more about how this came about. What brought you to developing this series?
Well, it's funny. I've been working with self-described over drinkers for years in my one-on-one practice, therapy and coaching. And by over drinkers, I mean people who find themselves caught in the habit loop of drinking, maybe not feeling they're physically dependent, but certainly emotionally dependence has developed over time. Um, Habit drinking has developed over time. And it occurred to me that it would be a fun idea to offer the mindfulness tools that I have found have worked for my one on one clients to offer those in a group setting. I've had a lot of inquiries from people who either can't afford the one on one work or just prefer to work in a group setting with others who are experiencing the same kinds of challenges as they are. And on the other hand, I've been teaching mindfulness meditation to various groups for a long time. I've taught it over 50 corporations, law firms, Girl Scout troops, CUNY Grad Center. And I love to watch the group process unfold. So
Mhm.
the idea of combining these things, the teaching mindfulness in a group setting and teaching mindfulness tools specifically to help reduce drinking seemed like a natural next step. And then when the pandemic hit and everything moved to Zoom, I
Mhm.
thought, hey, let's see if this works. And I found it works great. I've taught about 25 cohorts since the beginning of the pandemic, and people respond well, both to the mindfulness tools and to the group support.
Yeah, and that's so important to us for us to also be able to have access to what you offer, even when we can't, like when we physically can't be together. So that's really important. And we're going to have a chance to do a mindfulness together, and we'll be thinking of everyone who's watching with us to try to kind of conjure up that group feeling.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Because there are others who are experiencing what you're experiencing. And
always,
just,
there
here.
always is.
Ah,
Yeah. So, could you give us a sampling of what a mindfulness practice would look like?
Sure, sure. I'd be happy to. I'm going to lead us through a mindful drinking practice.
Sounds good.
So, if people out there watching, if you want to pause your video for a moment and get something to drink, maybe a beverage, something with a little flavor. Yeah, there you go. Something with maybe a little flavor, maybe not water. Water's okay too. So just take a moment, pause the video,
Pause.
and we're back. Okay, great. So maybe just as a way of starting to kind of drop into your experience, as we say in the business. So finding a seat that feels comfortable to you. And you can either close your eyes or just lower your gaze and maybe just taking a deep breath in and out. This is a way of connecting the mind and the body together. And if that brings up any kind of discomfort, paying attention to the breathing, then simply shift the focus to the sound or to how your body feels. noticing the points of contact of your body to the surface that you're on. Really anything that just brings a sense of presence, of being here right now, fully with your experience. And now reaching for your beverage and maybe taking it in two hands, taking it in both hands so that it's very intentional. And before you drink anything, just noticing the touch of the glass, noticing the sensation at the fingertips or the palm of your hand, noticing the temperature. Maybe it's colder in one place or warmer in one place, a different temperature somewhere else on your container. Noticing as you kind of move your fingers over the glass or the container, just noticing any rough places or smooth places, things you might not notice otherwise. And opening your eyes a little bit and noticing color. Maybe the liquid I can see through because I have a glass here and I'm noticing the liquid is moving around a little bit. And I can see my hand through the glass. I'm just kind of slowing this whole process down. Getting very curious about this glass that's in our hands. And maybe even taking a moment to consider, where did it come from? How did this liquid get into the container? Do you remember pouring it? Or maybe it's a can or a bottle that came with the liquid already in it. And maybe thinking, how did this get into my home? Did you bring it into your home? Did someone else bring it in? Was it delivered? How did it get onto the truck? How did it get into the container that it started out in? Maybe even considering all the hands that it's gone through, it's passed through. And then returning here to this experience of just looking at the glass, the container, and maybe bringing it up gently, slowly up under your nose, breathing in a little bit and just noticing, does it have a scent? Is there a response inside the nostrils? Is there anything else that you're smelling? Maybe hand lotion or cooking smells? What else is here? And then just moving the glass towards your lips and just placing it right against your lips before you take a sip or a straw, either one. And just noticing the sensation. And then start to take some sips. And as you do so, maybe taking one kind of generous sized sip and seeing if you can leave the liquid in your mouth for a little bit, a little longer than you might normally. And just notice what happens inside your mouth. Is there anything in the tongue or the cheeks? Something comes alive maybe a little bit. And at what point does it feel like swallowing needs to happen? Maybe right before the actual swallow, just take a moment, just be with that feeling. Oh, that's interesting, huh? This is what it feels like to want to swallow, and then allow yourself to swallow, and then maybe noticing, and you can keep sipping if you want, and just noticing as you do that, at what point do you lose track of the liquid? Maybe you can feel it in your throat. Maybe you feel it go into your esophagus, maybe even into your belly, depending on the liquid or the temperature of it. And then maybe taking a moment now to notice what your thoughts are as you're experiencing this. What emotions, maybe judgments come up, maybe feeling like, this is really enlightening, or this is really dumb. I can't wait for this to be over. Just noticing whatever's here in your mind, because it's all welcome in the mindfulness practice. Everything, thoughts, emotions, body sensations, we're just bringing awareness to what's here. Maybe continuing to take a couple more sips. And if this were an alcoholic beverage, you might notice at what point things start to shift. At what point do you start to feel a little different? If you were practicing this with others, you might notice at what point you start to sound different or talk differently or move differently. Just to notice. And you might notice if you stay with that feeling and you start to feel that buzz, you might be surprised at how long that buzz can last before feeling like you really need to have another sip or another drink. So this whole idea is spacing out, slowing down. And now maybe just placing the container back on the table, taking another breath in if that's comfortable, just being back with your experience without the glass, without the beverage. Just noticing anything you notice. And allowing your eyes to open, maybe take in the space around you. I like to sometimes notice one thing. It's usually something different that I don't normally notice. So, Ariella, what was that? What was that like for you? What was that experience like? What did you notice?
I noticed so much. I noticed for the first time, well, to give background, I drink coffee every morning. And I made this cup of coffee at 8:45 this morning, and it's still sitting here. I'm nursing it for the past few hours. And what I noticed is that I don't really like it. I didn't like the smell. The smell, I had a very allergic reaction. Um, I didn't like how it tasted when I let it linger in my mouth. And I didn't like how my body was feeling, like how my stomach was feeling as I was drinking it. And I think I'm noticing that it's too strong for me.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. And I think the most salient realization was I, the first cup of coffee, this whole thing was full. So the first half of the cup I really did enjoy. But because I know I really enjoy it, that's why I order big coffees, because I love coffee. But I don't enjoy the second half of the coffee, and I don't usually even finish my coffee.
Hmm.
So I think, that's helping me realize maybe I don't need as much or need to order as much or make as much as I thought I did.
Right. And to notice at what point it stops being pleasurable,
Right.
right? And you could see where this would apply really nicely to drinking alcohol as well. When we start to slow down, maybe we notice we don't even like I've had a lot of people say that. It's funny. Um, and people, when they bring mindfulness to use mindfulness tools to quit smoking, say the same thing. When they're really paying attention, like, this tastes disgusting.
Yeah.
Um, and maybe you do like the taste, and that's fine. But as you said, Ariella, maybe you like it for a while, and then it's kind of like enough, you know. So then it starts to become, when you practice this way, it starts to become a little more intuitive.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I I think that I like the association with the coffee, and this would also lend itself to speaking about an alcoholic beverage where I like the routine of drinking coffee, and I have my association with coffee is feeling productive at the beginning of the day and feeling energized and, having those like conditioned reactions in relationship
Hmm.
with my coffee. Whereas, at a certain point, like my day's already started and
Yeah. Yeah.
it's,
And it might be the same with someone who's drinking, like they may associate, oh, end of day relaxing,
right.
treat, deserve, all these things. And it's so important to start. One of the things I do in class one is really uh, delve deep into what am I getting from this?
Mhm.
Because usually with addiction, at least what I've been taught, and I studied harm reduction psychotherapy for a year with Andrew Jatarsky, who literally wrote the book on harm reduction psychotherapy. And one of the things we learned was that people aren't addicted so much to the substance, they're addicted to what they're getting from it. So when you start to realize, oh, what I'm getting from this is, and all the good things you list and all the not so good things, um, and you start to really, really pay attention to that. And then maybe ask yourself, like, what's really needed here? I had one client who, when she really considered that, she said, a hug. I need a hug.
Mm.
So that's just a little sampling of what how we can bring mindfulness into our drinking, really into anything.
Right. I that was really it was only a few minutes, but I don't even know how long it was. I was so in the moment.
I
Uh,
don't know either.
but it was really eye-opening. I don't even want to finish my coffee. And it's I take on this responsibility that I have to finish the cup and I have to and I need this coffee and I paid for the coffee and all these things that I there's all this pressure when really
Hmm.
no one would know
Hmm.
if I poured it down the drain.
Exactly, exactly. Sometimes I'll suggest that to clients. You can actually just pour it. Ah, no, I paid money for it. Well,
Right.
what's more important? What's the bigger, better offer? Feeling good the next day, feeling better the next morning, or feeling like you got your money's worth somehow. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm definitely
You're
going to carry
welcome.
that over to tomorrow's cup. Even
I
make it
want to hear. I want to hear.
smaller. Yeah. And sometimes also the like I make it from a pod and sometimes they're pre-prescribed that you don't choose how much you get 7 ounces out of the pod. So,
Mm,
thinking about ordering a drink, we think, we can't get any less. But just because it's there doesn't mean we have to necessarily finish it. Uh,
right. Exactly.
yeah. Well, thank you so much. This was
You're so welcome. This is a pleasure, and I hope that some people get some good tools from this and go to some of the other resources that are hopefully listed on the page, moderation.org, or my website, as you said, insightoutnyc.com. Rolls right off the tongue. Okay.
definitely reach out and go to visit that website. And we also here at the Wellness Center have different resources available to you. We have group therapy sessions. We have that are specialized for different concerns and issues that arise. And we have individual therapy sessions that are free of charge to CUNY grad students. And we are looking forward to working with you and helping you through whatever it is that has come up during this practice or any time outside of this. So,
Wonderful.
great days, and we look forward to hearing from you.